Hello, this is going to be the first of many videos where I'm going to talk about the updated version of Jackrabbit. The alpha version that's been tested for the last several weeks is now the mainline version. As such, it's had a lot of changes. This is just going to be one of many videos that talks about those changes, including a complete redesign of the settings menu to hopefully make it easier to read and follow. So now we were going to get into the settings, and I've already preloaded the chart with Jackrabbit running in its basic settings. So pretty much what you would expect with the very basic default version of Jackrabbit. So now from there we're going to go down to the configuration settings specific to Jackrabbit. Okay, here we go. Now, you'll notice with this version, there's no numbers, just B's and S's for buys and sells. That's because in this version, you pick your matching indicators here. So, let's take and we'll put this down to one indicator. And you'll see a lot more buy signals. Rather than playing guessing games with all the signals on the screen, I chose to go this way so you can actually pinpoint and eliminate unnecessary signals. Now that the chart has been reloaded, you'll see a lot of buy signals. We don't want that many buy signals. So we're going to go ahead and put 4 buy signals as an example. When the chart updates, you'll see a lot of all of this gone, which is what we want. Now we only see buy signals that match 4 or more indicators. That's it, that's all. And of course, the sell signals match only 1 or more indicators. Same thing, if we change this to a higher number, we'll only get the sell signals that match, in this case, 2 or more indicators. And a lot of this will simply disappear. Now, it should be noted that when you increase your sell signals, you will increase your profit capabilities, but you will also increase your risks. So you need to weigh out the importance of your buying and selling appropriate to your risks. Excuse my Bluetooth keyboard there. So, as you continue to tune your strategies, you will be able to zero in on exactly what you're looking for. For example, if we put sell signals to 3, okay, let's go to 3. And now you'll see even less sell signals. And of course, the whole chart is going to reload on me. But now you begin to see it load. Start to see less sell signals here. So as you progress now with your buying and your selling, you are picking in your settings the number of indicators that you want to determine buying and selling appropriately. Now, the more signals you pick for selling, the higher the risk, because it's likely that it may not receive a sell signal. For example, these buy signals don't receive a sell signal to over here, because all of these sell signals don't match the requirements. So that is something that you need to be aware of and test carefully. And that will help you pick the best number for your risk assessment and your budget. Now, with 2 signals required for selling, we have these sell signals, which means we don't buy into this drop. That's important because here we buy, we get rid of it, we don't buy this at all. We're not waiting for this fall. Okay, now, let's go back here and let's go crazy. Let's do a 1-1. Let's load this up and actually get it to really show some signals. And then we can tune it with some of the new features built into Jackrabbit that simply weren't possible with the previous mainline version. Now, look at this mess. This is a nightmare all the way around, and not something I would even want to try to trade. So let's start with and actually combine a new feature that will turn this into a very nice system. So here we're going to use the Pivot Hunter. Okay, it's got the defaults for the pivot, but let's come up here and turn it on. Okay, here we go. 1 Pivot Hunter. And then it will load. And I'm going to click on OK here, because we're going to move to the next part. Now, this is a complete disaster. Now also notice no buy signals on all of this because it's trending up. That's what we want. We don't want buy signals until we get a drop. We don't want to buy going up. But down here, okay, you clean it out, took out all that. So now let's bring up the Pivot Hunter visual script. And then from there, we'll begin to tune it and get an idea. And we'll actually get to see a little bit about why the Pivot Hunter took all those buys out, which is really what you want. Okay. And I don't see it, which means I didn't put it in my favorite. Oh, there it is. I spelled it wrong. Okay. We'll chalk that up as a bug. And that'll be an update. Spelled it wrong in the file name. Alright. Well, expect an update to fix this. But as it loads, you'll get to see why this is like this. And here we go. This is the pivot hunter. This is a support and resistance layer. And this is actually what is causing the warnings for the candlesticks. Just ignore them because it will work nonetheless. But as you can see, right here are the buys. That matches right here. This is the median or the central pivot. Now the way Pivot Hunter works is you can actually pick specific layers that you want your buys and your sells to take place. The default setting is a 1-1, meaning the buys have to be below this, the sells have to be above. Nice and simple. All this gets eliminated out, as we can see here. Gives you better buys and better signals. But you can tune it. For example, here, all the way down. This is a 1 boundary, 2 boundary, 3 boundary, 4 boundary, 5, 6, and down here, the very bottom boundary is number 7. The same is true for going backwards on the selling. So when you set a boundary within your settings, both for Jackrabbit and for your visual script, it will actually limit when buying and selling takes place, so that you can force it only to buy, say, below the third or fourth boundary. Here. Let's move to a 1-hour chart where we might be able to get some better action. Okay, there we go. Starting to get a lot more action. As you can see, the reds. Now, since we have both JR-Link and Pivot Hunter, notice Pivot Hunter shows here, but it doesn't line up here. That's what we want. We want the combination of both capabilities really doing well. Okay, let's zoom in a little. Okay, as you can see, now this is automatically dynamic. You don't have to worry about doing anything here. This will automatically pick and choose the numbers according to the previous daily values. And as you can see, the combination is producing some very good results, even without dollar cost averaging. So this is something that you want to test in your paper trader. And Jackrabbit now having these capabilities of combining different mindsets means really there's no way for me to be able to predict all the possible combinations that might actually exist. And this is beneficial because it means it gives you a wider variety to choose from that's not limited to my own abilities. And that was one of my biggest concerns with Jackrabbit when I first started developing the mindsets, is I wanted a way to prevent Jackrabbit from being limited by my own personal trading skills. And this method does that. Okay, so now I'm going to change the buy pivot to a 3. And you're going to see the chart change. It'll take a few seconds. And anything that is above the number 3 boundary will be taken off the chart. And let's change this to a number 4. As you see now, all of those signals are gone. Buying now has to take place below the number 3 boundary, or equal to or below. And now when it reloads here, all of the selling will have to take place equal to or above the number 4 boundary. And an easy way to remember the numbers is the outermost boundaries always start at the number 7. So this is boundary 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and the central pivot or the median is 1. And there we go. So now, with this simple example, a lot of what you've seen is eliminated. So if you can apply this to this, you'll get different results. So let's do that. Let's load this up. We'll go down to the Pivot Hunter settings and we'll put the same numbers in this as we have down here. Okay, we'll simply scroll it down. So even though JR-Ling is 1 and 1, the Pivot Hunter helps filter a lot of that out as a confirmation. Okay, so now we do buying at the number 3 pivot. And we do selling at the number 4 pivot. Now, click on OK, and we wait and see how the chart changes. And you'll see the combination of this information versus JR-Ling up here. Going to take a little bit of work to do some calculations. There we are. Look at these signals. This is a nice profit. For a 1-hour chart, we're looking about the second, about the 28th, 29th. That's a pretty good and reasonable profit. Now let's go down to the 30-minute chart and see if it makes much of a difference. But the whole point here is take and really spend the time, tuning your strategies. And you'll see cases like here, this is above the number 7 pivot. And these are some very good positions to sell at. So you can really tune this down to a very generous profit. And you can combine each of the components now in ways that I might not have even thought of. Now that being said, not all components are going to combine nicely. For example, Knife Catcher and the Dead Man's Switch are completely opposite of each other. And they won't work well together. But a lot of other combinations will do very well, like this one. So, when you're doing longs or shorts, this is what you want to look for when you're combining your modules. Use these visual aids. They're there to help you tune Jackrabbit. Take advantage of what they offer. When you set up your alert, you are going to get a warning about repainting. I'm still trying to investigate why, but it's harmless at this point as I've not found any negative impact on this at all. And I've done trading with real money with this issue. and it has not affected any of my trades. But you do need to use once per bar close. So let's go here to an alert. Let's set this up, because this is really a nice alert. This is a nice pattern. And now it's going to load the alert window. Okay, once it's finished loading, go to Jackrabbit. Here we go, Jackrabbit. Buy once per bar close. This is what you want. So when you click on it, it lights up. Now, depending upon which bot you're using, Crypto Hopper 3 commas profit trailer. Put your buy message or open deal message here. Then when you're there, you've got everything checked, simply click create. You will get this warning. I'm still working with the developers of TradingView to find out why and how I can get around it, but don't worry about it. Just click on continue, let it create the alert, and you will be able to get this pattern traded. That's it. The alert is created. So we look at our alerts now. Now, providing it stays open. Alright, come on, stop being stubborn. Doesn't want to show me my alerts. Well, when you get your alerts window open, hopefully it will behave better than mine is. You'll see your newly created alert. But really, that's it. Test it. Run the paper trader all the time. I recommend running one constantly. In fact, I commonly run one on one platform like Crypto Hopper and another one on another platform like 3C, side by side at the same time, trading the same coin. That way I can compare the results and I can see which one's going to do better for that particular situation. Always take advantage of your resources to the best that you can. And those paper traders are indispensable. Now, as I said, this is going to be the first of many videos that discusses changes within Jackrabbit with the new mainline version. Particularly the strategy. That'll be a video all by itself, because that will let you actually run mock simulations using TradingView's backtesting and forward testing capabilities. But you do need to be aware of the restrictions to that. TradingView's strategy tester is not a substitution for a proper paper trader. It's an ideal and a tool to give you an idea of what could be profitable. but it does not take into account platform-specific features such as trailing stop loss, take profit, safety orders, dollar cost averaging, so forth. It only evaluates Jackrabbit's abilities to buy and sell. Let me repeat that. The strategy testing module only evaluates Jackrabbit's abilities to buy and sell. And it does have some very strong limits. Jackrabbit can use in excess of 6,000 candles. The strategy tester is limited to no more than 5,000 candles. So while it's an invaluable tool, it needs to be put in context for its usage. And here is our brand new alert that we created. The green light means it's ready to roll. So when this condition is met, it will fire off a buy signal, and then my bot will buy this asset appropriately. I emphasize, take your time, spend time looking at these visual scripts and how you can combine them into different ways to fit your risk assessment. Remember, this is JR-ling using only one buy signal combined with the pivot hunter using a level 3 boundary. Very powerful combinations can be made here. Until next time.